My ask of you all today is that you be real and honest with yourself and others, no matter what stage of life you are in. That we would not allow anyone else to dictate our what, our how, or our why. It is my hope that you all would always be authentic and never justify reasonable behavior. My name is Karen Grace Jacoba. My friends call me KG, and my family calls me Kare. And some people like the whole mouthful of Karen Grace, but don't call me Karen because I hate that. But really, in the end, it doesn't matter what you call me because I am me. I strive to be real, and I will always be authentic. Being me in every circumstance means I have to be willing to be unpopular and uncomfortable, even when it hurts. It means I need to be centered within myself, and that I must know what I like and don't like, what I believe and don't believe, what opinions I have and don't have. Mostly being me means I must stand by my own opinions and feelings and actions without feeling the need to justify them. Charlene once said of me that I'm a straight shooter. And she's right, I am. But being a straight shooter means that there are certain things I will not do. I will not like what you like simply because you like it. I will not engage in popularity contests as a way to validate my own self-worth. And I won't be a lemming. What I mean by being a lemming is an animal that just blindly goes with the crowd, following all the other lemmings without thought, even if they all blindly run over the cliff to their death. Not being a lemming means you have to stop and be aware of your surroundings. You have to listen and determine what is right for you, even if it goes against the crowd. You have to be willing to not justify reasonable behavior. Reasonable behavior may be your own opinion about something. It may be your response to a situation. It may be an emotional reaction. As long as it's honest and not illegal, immoral, or life-threatening to yourself or others, it's reasonable. Deliberately hurtful behavior is not reasonable. But any opinion, behavior, or emotion that you feel or express as an honest reflection of who you are and what your circumstance is reasonable. I am personally on a mission to never justify my own reasonable behavior, even if it's complicated, sad, angry, or fucking stupid. I just said fucking twice. And some of you are uncomfortable with that. And that's okay. It's reasonable for you to be uncomfortable with swearing, but is it reasonable for your uncomfortableness to dictate my behavior? Here's something to think about. I believe it's perfectly acceptable in any circumstance to swear until you apologize for it. Because it's in the apology that you negate your authenticity, that you negate the validity of your thoughts and emotions and opinions. How many times have you said a swear word, or even just thought it, given a strong opinion, or disagreed with somebody only to say afterwards, sorry, but, or I hope you don't mind my saying? Well, in fact, people do mind. But so what? If a swear word or an angry comment is an honest reflection of what you were feeling at the time you said it, and it was not said deliberately to hurt another person, then it's reasonable and needs no justification. Because it's in the attempt to justify reasonable behavior that we reduce the realness of who we are and instead elevate the expectations of others. I'll repeat that. It's in the attempt to justify reasonable behavior that we reduce the realness of who we are and instead elevate the expectations of others. Let's explore this a little deeper. You'll be hearing a lot of moving and inspiring stories today, and while the talks you have heard and will hear, and the women who share them are awesome and amazing, they do tend to follow a similar pattern of, I was here, and I worked really hard, and I got through it, and now finally I'm awesome. And while I would love to give you that kind of talk today and say things that bring tears to your eyes and inspire you to achieve your dreams, I can't. I can't give you that kind of talk today because it's not my reality. I can't give you what I don't feel that I have inside me today. For me to be myself and to be honest and authentic, I have to be vulnerable. Being vulnerable with you today, a bunch of strangers I hardly know, is to stand up here and tell you honestly that I have struggled so much lately with purpose and direction and decisions. I would be lying if I tried to tell you that I thought I was awesome. And that I've reached my dreams, that I'm feeling really powerful, because I don't. I don't feel that way today. I feel tired and confused, and I'm nervous. I'm nervous for the future because I happen to be in the middle of some really dark personal circumstances. I see the light at the end of the tunnel, but my journey is now, and it's very overwhelming. That's my reality, and I'm not going to justify it to any of you in order to leave you inspired. In order to ensure that you're not feeling uncomfortable. Because I'm okay with being uncomfortable. Are you? Fuck yeah. Woo! My mother passed away just before Christmas. And her favorite Bible verse and a motto she lived by was, "The truth will set you free." My mom stood for truth in word and in deed, and she taught her 5 children to be true to themselves, even if doing so was uncomfortable to others. She taught us that though we are all different and we all have a different truth, we are all equal. She wrote this poem. Each person has been given his own measure of pain, but when one stops to weigh them, they each weigh the same. Each person has been given her own measure of pain, but when one stops to weigh them, they each weigh the same. That short, simple verse is really quite profound, not so much in its acknowledgement of equality, but in its acknowledgement of pain. Think about it. If we only ever acknowledge our hurt and pain and dark moments after we have overcome them, then we are only being true and authentic half the time. We need to be okay with all of our emotions and experiences and be vulnerable and authentic in the journey, not just after we've come through it. I chose to be honest and vulnerable with you all today because that is me being authentic. My question is, what is your truth today? Did you know that darkness and light are each one side of the same coin, and that both are part of you and your life? Being authentic is feeling and existing in either the light or the darkness of what your reality is. Reasonable behavior is whatever is honest and true for you, regardless of your circumstances, regardless of your achievements and successes, or failures and regrets. Sometimes we must be weak before we can be strong, and sometimes our strongest moments are born from our weakest ones. I'm confident that we can all agree that it feels great to be up here in the highest peaks of success and not so great to be down here in the darkest valleys of life. But you are not less of you when you are in a low. I believe that we actually set the stage for deeper, darker valleys when we are only ever honest and truthful after we reach the peaks. You are still awesome and beautiful and worthy regardless of your circumstances, regardless of what is authentic for you today. It is reasonable to lack confidence, to feel unsatisfied, to be pissed off or stressed out. You are allowed to feel those things, to think them, dwell on them, and act accordingly, and you do not have to justify it. Say what you want, do what makes sense to you, be authentic in your highest peaks of success and in your deepest moments of pain. And never, ever justify reasonable behavior. Thank you.